Good.
Growing up, my mom would tell me a story of how she was scared of the song Another One Bites the Dust, which was a 1980 hit by the band Queen. She was specifically scared because it would talk about guns and shootings, and her sister would use every opportunity she got to play the song and terrorize her with it. Hi, I'm Bethany McCormick, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the voice behind songs such as Another One Bites the Dust, and his name was Freddie Mercury. Today, I'll first discuss the upbringing of Mercury. Second, I'll discuss the accomplishments he and the band Queen had on the music world. Third, I'll discuss the death and legacy of Freddie Mercury. And lastly, I'll discuss the 2018 biopic film directed by Bryan Singer, which was made about Mercury and his accomplishments. According to 2014's Encyclopedia of World Biography Online, on September 5th, 1946, Mercury was born, but he was born as Farouk Balsara. In 1953, he was sent to a very strict English school in India because his parents were very traditional and believed he deserved a proper upbringing. However, they couldn't afford to ship him to school and from home all the time, so he spent a lot of his childhood with relatives in the Bombay area, where he learned to play piano and developed a great appreciation for the arts. Around this time, he also started going by the English name Freddie. In 1965, he ultimately returned back to his family in Zanzibar, but due to political turmoil, they relocated to England. Around this time, he began going to college to study graphic design and the arts, where he met his future bandmates Brian May and Roger Taylor. During his later teenage years, it was noted specifically by his sister Kashmira Balsara that Freddie began experimenting with his style. It started with growing out his hair, and then with him making flamboyant outfits from his mother's tablecloths, much to her dismay. In 1970, Freddie finally jumped at the chance to start a very flamboyant and eye-catching band with Brian May and Roger Taylor, and they hosted auditions for a year, and they ultimately found John Deacon as their bassist. However, success did not come overnight with this band. It took them 4 years for them to finally gain a hit, and that happened whenever they appeared on London's Top of the Pops, performing their song 7 Seas of Rye, which overnight became on the top 10 charts. The same year, they released the song Killer Queen, which gained them international fame, getting on the American top 10 Billboard charts. Because of this, they also embarked on their first US tour and released the monumental chart-topping hit, Bohemian Rhapsody. Living as grandiose as he did on stage, Freddie's tendencies began getting negative attention towards the band, and especially speculation under his sexuality, which was something that was not discussed of at the time. In 1985, Queen began their final tour with Freddie unbeknownst to them because he had been diagnosed being HIV positive. On November of 1991, Freddie Mercury died of AIDS. Although his life was relatively short, Freddie's high-profile life shed awareness on this unknown disease at the time. The July 2000 publication of Tracking the HIV Epidemic, Current Issues, Future Challenges, American Journal of the Public Health, the AIDS epidemic is discussed of the 1980s is discussed. It was seen as very taboo because a lot of people did not know what caused this disease, and it caused a negative stigma against the homosexual community and those who had contracted the disease. However, we now know what causes AIDS and how to treat it. Not only did Mercury set the stage in the music world, he broke social barriers in his life and his death. With a vibrant and unique legacy, it's hard for the world to simply forget such an eccentric individual. In the November of 2018 biopic Bohemian Rhapsody, written and directed by Bryan Singer, Freddie Mercury's legacy is put on the film and display. The film goes in depth of the insecurities Mercury felt, specifically with his teeth, which ironically is the reason he could sing so well, because it gave more room in his mouth to hit higher notes and lower notes. Also, this film kind of caters to those who may have insecurities in their own selves, such as inward and outward appearances or feelings they may have, and to come to terms with their inner peace with themselves to be the best version they can be. It also goes into his relationship with Mary Austin and his later lasting relationship with Jim Hutton, his former hairdresser who cared for him late in his later years with his AIDS diagnosis. This movie really gained a lot of attention and actually won a couple of awards. Nevertheless, it's apparent that the impact Freddie Mercury had on the world resonates with so many people that his legacy and memory will not fade anytime soon. Throughout the speech, I have described the life and legacy of Freddie Mercury, the accomplishments and boundaries he broke in life and even in his death. How ultimately this man's death was even anything but ordinary, and there's a biopic written about everything he conquered in his life. I do hope you guys take some time today to either watch Bohemian Rhapsody or even listen to some songs by Queen. I'm pretty sure you'll even hear some of them on the radio on your way home. And I do thank you for your time. And I just want to end on one note that I remember from going to the theater to go watch Bohemian Rhapsody. During the Live Aid performance that's depicted in the movie, this old man in front of me in the theater lit up his lighter and put it up in the air, and everyone started singing along to the lyrics. And it was a beautiful, heart-feeling moment. Thank you for your time.